What is going on, guys? It's your boy ShadyMikeGaming, and welcome to another NBA 2K22 signature shot. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Detroit Pistons star forward Jerami Grant. Now, first and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for all of the support on our latest videos, especially our Modding Monday showcase. If you do like the jump shots and the mod showcases, please like the video, and for more content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. So today we're going to be taking a look at Jerami Grant, a little bit more of an obscure player for sure. This did come in as a paid request, so we're taking a little bit of a break from our poll to get this knocked out. Now, as you guys know, I do paid requests here on the channel from time to time. It really just, as a smaller channel who doesn't have sponsors or anything like that, it really just helps me to justify the amount of time that I put into these videos to get the detail that we get. So I really thank you guys for the support. But other than that, let's go ahead and get right into Jerami Grant. So as we get into Jerami Grant's base, first and foremost, let me say shout out to everyone who was on stream with me as we were working on Grant's base. It was a doozy. And let me start by saying this. One thing about when you're working with players that aren't shooters by nature, one problem that they run into is inconsistency. And we sat and watched Jerami shoot for a while. And honestly, we could have used, in my opinion, 5 to 7 different bases. But when you have a player like that, what you have to do is find the common trends and what you notice. So what we noticed from Jerami Grant's jump shot, and it's really important, is when Jerami goes to shoot the basketball, when he starts his jump shot, his legs are spread apart and they are wide. But the key here is, yes, his legs are spread apart far, but his knees do not bend inwards. We had to find a base that has his legs spread apart far, but his knees don't bend inwards. We were able to do that here. When Jerami Grant does elevate, as soon as he elevates, his legs come together in the air, and upon his landing, he has a slight twist, and you'll see that in his landing. That is all we're looking for. Now, as we get into Jerami Grant's release, things get interesting. On stream, we honestly noticed that his release was identical, a one-to-one remake of Karl Anthony Towns, and we captured that and we were perfectly fine with the Towns release. But this is where I want to talk a little bit about the details when we talk about form versus motion. Yes, you can have the perfect form, but sometimes the motion is a little bit different. So what I noticed is, Grant, again, he's an athletic player. He takes a lot of pull-ups and tough jumpers. Sometimes his release point was just higher. So I worked to raise the release point of Grant's shot to over his head, really over his forehead, but really keep that same form. He shoots it a little bit to the left of his face. It's really right down the center of his head, which makes that that shooting arm, if I can get the camera right, which makes his dominant arm really move over to the left of his body in order to capture that form properly. So when we were talking about the form, my goal was to really just raise the release point just a little bit, and I didn't like the way Grant's arms dropped with the Towns release, so we wanted to touch up on that as well. So let's go ahead and get into the second part of Jerami Grant's release. When we talk about his release, what we started to notice as we were watching is Jerami Grant often short arms his shots. So what that means when we say that is he will shoot it, but he won't extend that shooting arm all of the way. I apologize for the poor camera work here. The 2K camera is just not going to work with me. So let's adjust that here. So when he shoots, what we noticed was very often he just does a little bit of a short arm. Now, again, unfortunately, this was not something he did all the time, but this was something we noticed he did the majority of the time. At first, I thought it was just something he did on pull-ups and not his threes. Sometimes he will hold that follow through on the deep threes, but then I saw that trend change a little bit too. So he wasn't super inconsistent. He wasn't super consistent with it. But what we noticed from Grant is a lot of times he kind of just short arms and doesn't extend that arm fully. And we were able to capture that perfectly with some blending. Now, the thing about that short arm release is sometimes it's a little bit exaggerated in 2K on the pull-ups. So I have two releases here. I have one that captures that short arm of him pulling his release back. But if you don't like the way that it looks on the pull-ups, I'm going to give you an alternate release so that you don't deal with it at all. But of course, he's just kind of going to hold that follow through. He's not going to do the short arm at all, which again is technically perfectly accurate for Grant. It's just a little bit tough to show in game because he does both so frequently. A lot of this stuff will make a lot more sense once we actually get into the menu and see the differences in the shots. All right, so when we look at Jerami Grant's base jump shot, this is really important, so please do pay attention. We're gonna be choosing between two bases here. We're gonna be choosing either base 87 or base 7. Now, base 87 and 7 are almost identical. Base 87 is much more square with the basket and a little bit less athletic. However, for me, it doesn't have as much twist. Sometimes when Jerami Grant shoots, he kind of fades back, and this shot has much more of that twist and athleticism that we are looking for. That's why I like it. Personally, for me, I am gonna be sticking with base 7, but I know on stream some people were more partial to the more prototypical base, so that's where the base 87 comes in. Now, for the first release, and this is the one I've been showing for the most part the entire video, we go with the Kevin Durant blended to 25 with amateur 5. What Kevin Durant gives us a higher release than Karl Anthony Towns, and amateur 5, what that does is it kind of gives us that short arm animation. Now, this is not the original release that we came up with, and that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to that now. So the more textbook release with the more extended shooting arm, we're gonna go with the Karl Anthony Towns release, and then it is still a perfect blend with Kevin Durant, and it's just a much more textbook release, and he just extends his arm a lot more. So as you can see, there's some mix and match options. This right here is the base jumper, base 87, Towns, Durant, perfect blend. You're gonna see that release point is still virtually the same. The form is perfect. It comes up a little bit higher, and you're going to see he's got full extension on that arm now. And you can also see from the base, this is base 87 as opposed to 7 that we've been showing this whole time. The base is much more square to the basket. His legs still come together, and the twist is still there, but it's much more slight. But if you want to kind of go a little bit more in depth with it, I like to drop this down to base 7. And then what do we have it at? I like to put this to Kevin Durant, drop this to 25, and then go ahead and mix in that amateur 5 to capture that short arm and that fade. Again, this is not for everyone, but it's perfectly okay. You have options because Grant varies so much in his shooting. So I wanted to make sure we had some examples of all of those shots as well. As we move over to the free throw, the Karl Anthony Towns free throw is a perfect 1-to-1 replication of his free throw. This is great, looks fantastic. We go with the Towns free throw. For the dribble pull-up, we really going for the most athletic pull-up with those wide legs. As I was doing this signature shot, just a random side note, I actually really like the Trae Young pull-up, I think, for Kevin Durant too. So we go with Trae Young here. Another alternative that I really like, couldn't really choose between the two, is Pro 3. It looks very good in game. As we go to the spin jumper, he's going to do an exaggerated kick when he spins that way and a small kick when he spins to his left. We're going to cover that a little bit more once we get to his post game. For the step backs, Jerami Grant this year has made 1 step back. Last year he made 3. Not a big part of his game, but when he does do the step back, he usually comes with 1 hard jab just like that, and you know, just the quick shot. So we go with basic 2 for that. Now as we go over to the layup package, there's options here. To be honest, I don't think we should overthink it. I like the long athlete package for Grant. Now you can also stick with the default swing. I noticed with the long athletes package that he just glides to the rim more, and I guess the way I want to explain it is he releases the ball closer to the actual rim on the animation. So that's why I like the long athletes package. For the dunks, Jerami Grant is a high flyer. We have the athletic one-handers off of 1. We've got the quick drop back scratchers, and we were even thinking, we were like, honestly, this dunk package really should just be called athletic two-handers off of 1 or off of 2. But you know, Jerami Grant will vary based on whether or not he's jumping off of 1 or jumping off of 2. A lot of times he's going to jump off of 1. And I'm sorry, I actually mixed that up. What I meant to say was the quick drops off of 1. I think they should just rename athletic two-handers off of 1, because realistically that's what it is. I love, this is my favorite dunk package in the game. We also give basic two-handers off of 1. We also give straight arm tomahawks for some of those intense poster type dunks that we do get from Grant from time to time. As we go to the post game, it was tough choosing between Jason Tatum and Pro 2. Either of these are accurate. Pro 2 has the most accurate fade to the right because he does the heavy kick and then to the right, and then he does the small kick to the left. Jason Tatum also does the small kick to the left, and the kick to the right is not as heavy, but it still is kind of heavy. could not find any hook shots for Jerami Grant, so we didn't touch it, and we also didn't touch his post hop shot as well. Now, as we get to Jerami Grant's handles, he's got a nice handle for an athletic wing, but I went with the Kevin Durant package. He doesn't do anything too insane, but he will give you a couple shimmies and shakes from time to time. From what we were able to capture on stream, I thought it looked the best, the Kevin Durant package. I wouldn't go any further than that. I would choose between Kevin Durant, maybe Doncic, and if not, I would stick with basic. There's just not a lot of huge, crazy crossovers being done by Grant. We also didn't change his normal size up, so this is really, in terms of crossovers, as far as I would go for Grant. All right, guys, and that's going to do it for Jerami Grant. Special shout out to my man Justin Roswell for the special request. If you all have special requests of your own, please hit me in my Instagram DMs or leave a comment below. Really appreciate all of the support here on the channel. For more content like this, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on, and please don't forget to like the video. Next up, over this weekend, we're going to be here on stream working on De'Aaron Fox, so stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people wanted to see him get done, so we're going to put some effort into him. But other than that, guys, it is your boy Shady Mike. I am signing out. Peace. Threes.